Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Gouf Custom. Alrighty, so once again, this is the older HG kit, not the HGUC kit. And that's quite apparent, actually, after I snapped it up. I wasn't really, I guess I didn't really know quite what to expect. I expected it to be old, and it's definitely better than like one of the old like 80s kits, like really old, but it's definitely still not even really even close to even like the old like HG Zaku kits. Like, it's still pretty old. And so, I don't know, it's gonna be okay, but yeah, just like I said in the unboxing, I think you can expect to do a lot of extra work on this. Is going to be even on some of the details. I think a lot of the details probably okay, but like some of the areas you're probably going to even want to go in and like do some extra like pen line scribing and stuff, because it's just kind of weird like how they put this together. I don't know, I guess they just weren't really thinking as much about like people just snapping up the kits back at that time. Like, for example, on the thighs, you can see on like the side of the thigh, there's a panel line detail there. So if they're thinking like, oh, if they're gonna put a panel line there, why not just make the thigh, the two pieces of the thigh just split the front and the back instead of the sides? But they just designed it in a way so that it's just the two sides fit together. So you have a seam on the front and the back, but a panel line on the side. So I don't know, there's no panel line on the inside though. So I don't know, it's just yeah, just be prepared to do a lot of seam line removal, because pretty much every part on this kit has a seam line. And there's going to be just a lot of sanding edges as well, just like there's a lot of, not like a lot of flash, but like the edges are like really sharp where they shouldn't be, just from like the edge of like the mold for that. But on the flip side, I think this kit does come with, kind of fair amount of stuff with it, I suppose, so that's kind of alright. But yeah, again, just be prepared to do a lot of work. So let's talk about some of the articulation, because it's not really the most articulated kit, as you could imagine. So just in here for like these like foil stickers, I just use them here, just the two little orange triangles around the chest, and then the one piece like wraps around. It's not only for the mono eye, it like covers the whole kind of front of the eyes there. You do also have this sticker sheet as well that you can use. I didn't use that. I'm assuming these are not going to work very well on there. But yeah, so once again, like this, there's no articulation here in the waist. There's no turning the torso, the top and the bottom half at all. It's just stuck like that. You can turn the head though. You can turn that side to side. It can almost look down about like a millimeter. You can move that up and down, and that's about it. The shoulders, the shoulders can move. The shoulder armor can move separately like that. You can move that out to about there. You can bring the arm up to about there. I think you could extend that if you see here on the top. If you cut that part a little bit more, let me find something to point at this with. Alright, good old beam saber there. This part where it's cut out there, if you cut that a little bit higher up into there, then I think you could extend the arm up higher. But as is, it's only coming up like to there. It's like a little more than 45 degrees maybe. But you can rotate this. Actually, it's like at the elbow, so there's rotation there at the elbow, and then just a single joint, which is going to give you just about 90 degrees. That's about it. The wrist is not a ball joint, but it acts pretty much like a ball joint. It's just a straight peg into a pulley cap that will swing up and down. So you can move that a little bit up and down in the wrist, but actually not in and out at all. So, and then of course just rotate that. You got no articulation here, anything at all with the skirts or any of that. On the legs, those are just pegged, just plugged onto ball joints, so you can rotate them a little bit at the top, and then they're going to go out to about there, which is not actually too bad. It's actually a little bit better than I expected for how far you can get those legs spread apart. Then, of course, but moving them forward and back is going to be pretty minimal, only about to there and to there. Whoops, and then you're just going to pull up this whole waist part like that. Let me just get this plugged back in there like so, okay. And then so we can bend the knee. There is kind of a double joint there, which is actually pretty good, but that's just two pulley caps. It's like two big pulley caps that are used for this knee joint here. So those go together, and surprisingly actually a pretty good bend there, but unfortunately you can't really get the knee or the whole leg itself any farther forward. The foot can actually move kind of well forward, and back. Not too bad forward and back, about what you'd expect. Side to side, it's not really all that much because it's just on a ball joint in there. So you can't really get the stance very wide, unfortunately. You would have to do some modification in there. Underneath the feet, full detail there. Even some like brand new modern high grades don't even have that. So I will give it points for that. But it's kind of more in the accessories where this kit is going to shine. So, okay, thank you. Please stand up. There we go. We do have just the regular Gouf shield. You can use that if you want. Just plugs onto the side of the arm. And like that. That's kind of all there is to that. Then we do have just this regular Gouf hand. So again, that just plugs into the wrist here. This poly cap, yeah, like that. Of course, looks a bit odd. It's going to take some painting, but you can use that if you want. Then we have a different holding hand for the right hand. This one's a little bit larger. That is to accommodate the sword. So here we go. If you want to hold that, it's not going to fit in this smaller hand here, in just the hand I have on the kit there. You can see the gap there is just pretty small. This one is larger for holding the sword. The sword plugs in, or can be stored in here behind the shield of our big Gatling gun shield here, the kind of signature weapon of the Gouf Custom. This thing is pretty awesome. But yeah, obviously going to take a lot of painting, as like the shield is molded all together here with this part. Seam line removal on this, just down this whole front part of the gun here, seam there, on the ammo canister there, seam line there. On the kind of machine gun part inside there, there's a seam there as well, but it's kind of hidden like under there, so you probably wouldn't need to worry too much about that. But overall, it works pretty well. I think actually it's not too bad. It's, like I said, it's going to take some paint, but overall, I mean, the molding's all there and it looks pretty cool no matter what. There's this part, which is that soft plastic part. It seems to be okay, and I don't think you're going to really need to worry too much about that paint chipping or anything, because it's not really going to move at all once it's there. This will just plug onto the arm like the shield. So it does have a handle here, so slide the handle onto the hand, then you can just plug this into the side of the arm, and there you go. Now let's check the weight. No problem holding that up at all, because that is just so light, with it just being very few parts and just kind of hollow, and yeah, and the joints in here are actually pretty well stiff, so it can hold that up no problem at all. It doesn't really seem like that's going to droop down at all. And then we do have one more accessory as well here on the forearm. We can take this part off and then just replace that with the wire part. So just replace this part here, stick that new one on. Okay, let's try that again. Stick that new one on, and that's barely holding in there. I think maybe need to add a little something around that polycap to, or around that peg, tighten that up a little bit. Then you're supposed to actually string that through the hand as well, but just for demonstration's sake, I'll just show this to you guys as it is, like that. And then we have this little plastic piece that attaches there onto the end. But as I was expecting, it seems like that wire could have been just a little bit, dang, it's really not staying in there. Actually, to tell you guys the truth, I think this is probably a little bit my fault. This peg had, it wasn't like perfectly circle, there was like a kind of raised part, and I thought it was a mold defect. So I kind of like cut off, because like the peg was right, or like the gate was right there on the end of there. So I just like was slicing off the gate, and then like on the actual peg too, there was like some raised part, and yeah, so I thought it was just a mold defect, so I was slicing that off too. Then I wondered, I was like, I wonder if it's not, then that would kind of suck. And now I'm thinking that it was not just a mold defect, because I think that would have made it, at least, maybe it was, but at least it would have been tighter in the polycap here. As it is, it's very loose there in the polycap, so that's unfortunate. Anyway, as I was saying, with the wire, it works fine, I think well enough, but if you want to have this in like kind of more extended pose like that, it's definitely going to be kind of drooping down. I think if it was a little bit larger gauge wire, you could have that going straight a little bit better, but I guess as you can see, it's not too bad. It's kind of doing the job all right. So yeah, okay, I'll give it a pass. So in terms of the accessories, this kit actually has quite a lot of stuff that I think is pretty good. Of course, I mean, it is all the same quality as the kit. Like, it's going to take a lot of painting, extra sanding, maybe even some scribing, so like re-scribing some of those details and stuff there, because some of the details are a little bit soft on this, not like really that sharp, just with it being kind of older mold. Alright, so of course there is no like actual connection point for an action base, but if you just kind of use like that fork shaped action base connection thing, which actually this action base that I use, and again, still a lot of people ask me what this action base that I use in my reviews is. This is from Kotobukiya. It's a Kotobukiya flying base. Aside from just like the regular peg connection piece that works well with most HG kits, it does also have a kind of similar kind of fork one, like kind of the one that Bandai has. It's used for like more Figma, robot damashi Figma kind of stuff, I guess. I'm not really sure, but anyway, you can use that for this kit, or a really simple way to make this fit onto an action base would just be taking your drill and just drilling the right size hole just up in that kind of crotch piece there, and then you can just plug that onto just a regular 1/44 scale action base. So up in the air, I mean, it's not really going to be, of course, the most posable kit, but it's passable. I think that's kind of like the best thing that I can say about this kit, or kind of the best way to summarize this kit, like as it compares to the HGUC version, which I've never built the HGUC version, but I can very easily assume that it's better than this in many ways. But in terms of a 1/144 scale version of the Gouf Custom, this one is passable. And I mean, the best thing is that it's 800 yen, so it's very cheap, although I can't imagine the HGUC kit is all that much more expensive. I imagine it's probably around 1400 yen or something like that. So a few bucks more would probably be worth it for most people to have a lot better articulation and part separation, things like that. Again, I guess I'll have to get that someday and actually try it out. I'm sure I will. I love the Gouf Custom. I have the Master Grade. I've been meaning to review the Master Grade for you guys. I have it, and it's like already snapped up because I've had it for a long time, many years, since before I actually got into doing YouTube. So I've been meaning to review that Master Grade for you guys. You've probably seen it just like chilling out on my shelf above my desk. But until I get to that, anyway, this has been my review of the old HG 1/44 scale version. And yeah, check it out if you're interested. Like I said, I think probably what I'll do with this kit is take that weapon and give that to a different kit, and then just paint up the Gouf just kind of as a regular kind of Gouf, just with the regular shield, and then like but obviously the body is the style of the Gouf Custom. So I don't know, I'll probably do something like that with mine, donate that weapon to something else. So hope this review video has been helpful for you guys. Yeah, check it out if you want. And I will actually be getting the old HG the old HG GM Sniper kit from this same series. I'll actually be getting that pretty soon, so I'll maybe have to do a review for that one for you guys. That one also is one that I'm getting pretty much just for the weapon. But now, actually, just today, we got the announcement that Bandai is going to be doing a HGUC P-Bandai version of the ground GM as the GM Sniper. But probably won't be getting that. So anyway, I'm getting way off course, so I'll just wrap up this review and just say if you guys have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. And just thanks for watching. Bye-bye.